I'm Phil.
And I'm Beth.
So, Beth, we're talking about the best education system in the world today.
You
went to school here in Britain.
What do you think of the British
education system?
You think it could be the
Do you think it could be the best?
best?
I think that
it's
it's quite good.
There's
Probably a couple things that I personally would change about it. I would say it's quite good, but maybe not the best in the world.
Well,
In this program, we're going to talking about the PISA rankings. The rankings are based on tests carried out by the OECD. That's an international organization every 3 years.
Every 3 years. The tests
attempt to show which countries are the most effective at teaching math, science, and reading. But is that really possible to measure? Well, here's former BBC education correspondent Sean Cotland talking to BBC World Service Program, The Global Story.
BBC World Service Program, The Global Story.
When they were introduced, first of all, that was a very contentious idea.
When they were introduced, first of all, that was a very contentious idea.
People said, how can you possibly compare?
Because people said, how can you possibly compare big countries?
Big countries, how can you compare America to Luxembourg or to,
how can you compare America to Luxembourg or to
parts of China or whatever?
Or to parts of China, whatever.
Sean said that the tests were contentious.
Sean said that the tests were contentious.
If
something is contentious, then it's something that people might argue about as controversial. So at first, PISA tests were contentious because not everyone believed it was fair. It was fair to compare very different countries.
Phil, I've got a question for you.
About them.
So, in 2022, Singapore was top of the reading ranking.
So in 2022, Singapore was top of reading rankings.
But which of these countries came second? Was it A, the USA, B, Ireland, or C, UK?
I think it might be Ireland.
Okay,
well, we will find out that that's correct at the end of the program. A common pattern in the PISA rankings is that the most successful countries tend to be smaller. Talking to BBC World Service Program, The Global Story, Sean Copland tells that many large countries from Western Europe don't score that highly in the rankings.
They're being outpaced and outperformed by these fast upcoming countries.
They are being outpaced and outperformed by these fast upcoming countries.
Singapore, or Estonia, or Taiwan, or those sort of places, or Estonia.
Singapore or Estonia or Taiwan or those sort of places.
Or Taiwan or those sort of places, which we don't historically think of as being economic rivals.
Which we don't historically think of as being economic rivals.
But I suppose the argument for the PISA tests is.
But I suppose the argument for PISA tests is,
if you want to have a knowledge economy,
if you have a knowledge economy, an economy based on skills.
This is how you measure it.
We heard that many large European countries. Are being outpaced by
smaller nations. If someone outpaces you, they're going faster than you at a high pace.
We use the
prefix out to say that someone or something is better at doing something. We also heard that smaller nations are outperforming the large ones. They're performing better.
Singapore, Estonia, and Taiwan are described as
Singapore, Estonia, and Taiwan are described as economic rivals
to
to
large
large European nations.
That means
That
that
means they are competing with them
economically.
economically. We also heard about knowledge economy.
This is an
This is an
economy based on
This is an economy based on service industries that requires workers
service industries that require workers to be highly
educated, such as IT, finance, or advanced engineering. So what makes countries perform better in these tests?
Let's hear again from BBC World Service Programme,
Let's hear again from BBC World Service Program, The Global Story.
Global Story. Sean
Sean
Coughlin tells us that
so
those
countries
that prioritize getting story.
Sean Coughlin tells us that those countries that previous
Coughlin tells us that those
Sean Coughlin tells us that those countries that prioritize
getting everyone to a certain level do well.
Getting everyone to certain level do well.
We also hear from Rando Kustik, an Estonian school principal.
We also hear from Rando Kustik, an Estonian school principal.
Countries which make sure that all their pupils get through a certain level. Countries which make sure make sure that all their pupils get that all their pupils get through a certain level,
through a certain level of education to a certain standard
regardless
of their background.
If you are teaching them by different level of ability,
if you are teaching them by different level or abilities,
then you are segregating them, and we don't want to segregate them.
Then you are segregating them, and we don't want to segregate any people
in the world. Why we are doing that
in the world? Why we are doing that
in the schools? This is one of the main things why Estonia is
in the school. This one of the main things why Estonia is successful.
Sean said the most successful systems educate
everyone
to a particular standard, regardless of their background.
To a particular standard, regardless of their background.
If one thing happens regardless of something else,
if one thing happens regardless of something else, it means
that the something else is not important or not a problem.
That the something else is not important or not a problem.
Rando Kustik said that Estonian schools do not want to segregate.
And that Estonian schools do not want to segregate students.
Segregate means to separate and keep apart.
Segregate means to separate and keep apart.
So, we've just heard about Estonia. But what about your question, Beth?
What about those countries?
I asked you which out of the
USA, Ireland, and the UK.
Ireland and the UK came second
for reading in the
2022
PISA ranking.
You said Ireland, and that was the correct answer.
The correct answer. Well done.
Okay,
let's recap the vocabulary we've learned in this program about education rankings, starting with contentious, argue about, or controversial.
If
you're outpaced by someone, they're going faster than you are. Rivals are competitors.
A
knowledge economy is one based on industry
that need highly
educated workers such as IT, finance, or advanced engineering.
If something
If something
happens
happens
regardless
of second thing, the second thing has no impact on it happening.
And finally,
if people are segregated,
different groups of people are separated and kept apart.
different groups of people are separate.
If people are segregated, different groups of people are separated.
Different groups of people are separated and kept apart.
And kept apart. Once again,
our 6 minutes are up.
Remember to
visit our website bbclearningenglish.com,
where you'll find a worksheet and quiz related to this program. We'll see you again soon for